I am with Cristina De Balanzo, the main node of Walnut, consultant, consumer neuroscience consultancy. Cristina, thank you very much for taking the time for this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cristina, let's go to the basics first. What is neuromarketing?
Well, I think you can find many definitions about what neuromarketing is, but I think the most important thing is to understand how the power of the unconscious in the decision-making processing. And I think this is our fundamentals. We exist because the unconscious is important, and therefore we need to understand this if we want to predict, understand, or change behavior.
Okay.
And well, this is for me. I mean, obviously we can overcomplicate the definition and saying, well, this is something coming from the cognitive neuroscience to understand marketing activities. This is something that describes, but I think the essence of what neuromarketing is to understand the power of the unconscious in the decision-making process.
Great. What are the complexities of neuromarketing?
I think we have many complexities. Since we started, I think this field has got a lot of detractors and people that cannot see how neuromarketing can be there in the sense of the role of these new tools. And the big challenge is actually we as an industry is to make all these insights into something actionable. Okay. And I think this is a key challenge that we have, like first to give a role in this. I think we have been listening all these speakers talking about the importance of integration. And I think integration is key because maybe when neuromarketing started, we were talking about replacement of traditional marketing techniques. Okay. And I think this was quite wrong. So now we had to tweak, to reposition ourselves in the industry, and after is to be relevant for the client because of the added value that we are offering, because at the end of the day it's going to be more expensive because we are adding something. So I think the key challenge is to really provide the client a clear evidence about the added value of our work.
That's a complex thing, obviously.
Yeah, it is very complex.
So your conception of neuromarketing is a complement to the traditional market research.
Yeah, I've been always saying this, so at least I don't have to change my mind, about so since first time I started in this field, I have been always saying the same, we are looking for integration and not replacement. And also because I think neuroscience is adding a dimension that was hidden before, but to understand human beings and the complexity, we still need to observe what people do, to describe this behavior. At the same time, we need to talk to these people and get this. I think it's the way we humanize the data as well. It's like the emotional why has all been something that just people can articulate. Okay. But then neuroscience establishes this facts, things that you want to talk about based on something. Okay. So that's why then the whole paradigm makes sense.
Okay. Good. And what's the way to measure neuromarketing, the success of neuromarketing projects? Like, is there any kind of ROI or return of investment, or?
Well, I think depending on the metrics that the client is going against, you can establish, how you want to measure, how you're going to measure the effectiveness and the investment, the return of investment of every single project. You can go project by project, or you can help them, to optimize a piece of communication, and then you can see in sales, that this particular piece of comms has worked better. Is the way, business decisions, the thing that neuroscience has to be able to achieve is being this client boards, to have a role, and a voice about brand decisions. And this is, I think, what they need to do. But I think in a project basis, you have to establish this ROI that you are looking for, depending on what the client is looking for as well.
Okay, good. Talking about the methodology, one piece of methodology of neuromarketing, how big should be a sample for a neuromarketing study on the one hand, and on the other, what would be the composition of the sample for the study?
Well, I think we come back again to the business objectives and the sample that you need to look at. I mean, in terms of a generic, you need, depending on how homogeneous is the sample, With EEG, you need a minimum of 40 people in order to have splits in terms of gender or usage, and people are talking about 30 to 40, but you are able to split these data, but as I think depending on the questions and how robust, you want to go for, is you need smaller samples,
okay.
I would say, but then it's depending of which technique you are. I'm talking about the EEG and GSR. If you are talking about eye tracking, you can do a qualitative work of eye tracking with just 10, but then you can have a massive quantitative study with eye tracking. That means 200 people, with visits in the store, or implicit testing. Normally we have samples of this goes online. Therefore, for reducing the noise, you need a kind of 130 as minimum, to proceed. But again, I think we can answer sample size restrictions according to the technique that we are using, and then how homogenic is the sample. Because, for instance, if you go from consumer to health, the sample is much more homogenic, and therefore we can go for, if we normally need these 40 people, we can go with 15, because these doctors, health practitioners and hematologists are quite homogenic, so therefore we can go with a much lower sample size.
Okay, so depending on one variable is the diversity.
Exactly, the sample,
Okay, good. Anything is perfect. Neuromarketing is not an exception. So what are the limitations of neuromarketing?
Well, I mean, I think there are many limitations, and neuroscience is something that we're getting close to the answers, like here, how advertising works. It's a massive question with no answers, but I think neuroscience is adding an additional insight to these kind of difficult questions that nobody has been able to answer. So I think neuroscience effectively is helping to understand this, has put on the table many things that before just we could maybe test by intuition, it's like this is going to work because there's some element, and why now we have an evidence that faces, as our colleagues were saying, are important, the stories put our whole brain to work. That's why it helps to get the engagement. So I think now that we started to have a lot of brand learnings, and that we are getting kind of Bible of knowledge, if it makes sense, to have this intuition to something that has been scientifically proven. So neuroscience can make tangible, what many years ago creative people as well have been saying, how this element is actually driven the whole engagement, despite maybe at rational level, it didn't make any sense. But now you can make it tangible, and I think neuroscience is what it's good at, to show, scientifically a proof that this is happening.
Okay. Nowadays we are living in a world where the access to knowledge is bigger than ever in human beings' history. On the other hand, the neurotechnologies, eye tracking, EEG, and so many galvanic conductance, and so many others, as they are getting like prices going down, like the prices are dropping down. So the technologies, as the time is going by, are becoming cheaper, or at least not that expensive as before. So we have access to knowledge and access to the technology, a kind of easy or not that expensive in some cases access to technology. So it is a kind of easy to claim that a person is doing neuromarketing. I have
because they have the machine.
They have the machine because they have read a couple of books and a couple of posts in a blog, and they are claiming they do neuromarketing with not necessarily a strong background. The question is, what are the aspects that a good neuromarketing has to identify it, or to be prepared to become a good neuromarketer? Like training, skills.
Exactly. I mean, I think one important thing is that one thing is if the whole speech, is summarized into technology, neuroscience is not going to make marketing any better.
Okay.
And saying this means that it's not about technology. It's how you use this technology to embrace new questions and answers to marketeers and help these marketeers to bring their brand to another dimension. You know, and I don't think that if you just have this technology background, actually, if you are not able to read and to know about marketing and brands and what is needed and targets, you know, all of this knowledge, technology is not providing you anything. You know, it's just pointless. So I think that the key thing that you need to look for when you want to go ahead with a project that involves neuroscience is to get good people with the tech profile, you know, that you needed to read this data, you know, they have good algorithms and good quality of data, but at the same time you have to be with consultants that are able to take this data into something actionable, something that you can use. Otherwise, I think we have been largely criticized about this. So what? You know, what can I do with that? You know, the brain going up and down. You know, what does it mean for my brand? And I think this is a challenge that we need to face up urgently. And I think now we are getting better at this understanding. But I think now there are companies like NSMBA or ESOMA. I think there are big organizations that have been trying to put a little bit of order and all of this accreditation process that now companies have to go through. I'm gonna leave some of cowboys that have been appearing, you know, time to time to a little bit apart, because I mean they are not following any quality standard. And obviously you need to know a lot about research, you know, because everything depends on how you design the experiment, you know, and to do that I have a team of people, you know, very prepared for really design how this, you know, how many cells, why, you know, variability of data. So I think you need to know a lot about research, the basis of research, apart from neuroscience and apart from marketing. You know, that's why as well my team has this different background, you know, cognitive neuroscientist with a person with a degree in psychology, myself with comms background, and being a consultant for a few years, and this neuroscience is important, but I mean it's a mix, you know. I think this is holistic, the whole thing. Also how you approach the things has to be multidimensional, and I think one single metric cannot answer the whole thing. Yeah,
so if I understand well, the requirements, not necessarily in one person, in a group, is like the tech profile people, the research people, and the neuroscience people, and as well people with experience, with expertise in the field, with the brands.
With the brands, I think,
with the products.
Exactly, as a marketeers, you know, you need to speak your client language, you know, and to translate all these scientific parameters into something that can explain the metric, you know, the KPIs. You know, you need to explain this into a language that makes sense for them, you know, and is relevant for their brand. That's why a mix of people is important, you know, when you are ahead with a project like this. Okay,
good. In management, in the last 30 years or so, we have seen fashions like total quality management, Six Sigma, re-engineering. The question is...
buzzwords.
Yeah, a lot of buzzwords. The question is neuromarketing another buzzword, another trendy stuff, or neuromarketing is here to stay?
I think it's here to stay, obviously. I mean, it's here to stay. And I think it will become mainstream, and this is something that Stan, the current CMI Unilever, said a few years ago. I think it's here to stay. It's stronger, it's getting stronger, technology is catching up, will become mainstream, but we need to keep on pursuing, you know, what we want to. And I think the whole industry started to be aligned into what is needed, you know, to succeed, you know, and clients are getting on board. The only thing is a nice thing to have, and it's not the mandatory yet, you know, and then these nice things to have makes the thing not mainstream yet. You know, and then it's not a massive number of projects, but getting there slowly, you know, it's a slow burn, but we will make it. We will make it. Good. But it's many years that we are already working. I mean, I have been in this industry for more than 7 years, so I think it's not a hype, definitely. You know, I think it's a hope.
In a nutshell, what is the current state of neuromarketing and what can we expect of neuromarketing in the near future?
I think there's a subject that we need to better. It's a subject that for the whole industry, not just neuroscience, is to be able to integrate all the different sets of data into something meaningful.
Okay.
You know that we know that I wrote the other day about a blog a piece saying there's not. We're trying to. So we understood that one single method is not going to give you the answer.
No.
So how you mix and blend all of these methodologies and put them together is a challenge.
Okay.
So therefore, neuro has to be able to find its place where you need to use neuroscience, how to use the others, in order to make a meaningful story to your client. And I think this is a big challenge for research in general, to find this
way to combine them.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a thing that we can expect for the near future. So,
but it's not just for neuroscience. It's just find a way to integrate.
To integrate
the
all those
different data.
tools.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good. Christina, to finish, do you have something you would like to say for the people who is interested in the community of neuromarketing?
I think probably is to be brave, to experiment, to be open, and to give it a try, and because neuroscience can provide probably new answers. But if we are going to use neuroscience to test the same boring stimuli, we are not going to make that marketing any better.
No.
So I think neuroscience gives the opportunity to be a little bit more creative as well, and to test sometimes punchy things and crazy things, because it's just is the way to do it. So probably just to be brave and give it a try and don't be scared about the different answers that you can get.
Okay. Good. Cristina, thank you very much for sharing your time with us as well as your knowledge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much.